today with a question. Who all has been touched by cancer? If you could please stand up and look around. Notice how many people have been touched by cancer. All right, you can sit down now. You all have had a mom, or a dad, or a sister, or a friend, or an aunt, or an uncle, or a grandparent, or a cousin, and the list goes on and on. But someone in your life has been touched by cancer at one time or another. Urban Dictionary defines cancer as the disease lacking a sense of humor, and it's so true. This is a disease that needs to have a cure because it's affecting and taking so many lives today.
So now I have a question for everybody. How many of you have already participated in Relay for Life? And if you have, please stand up.
I would like to personally thank each of you for helping me. Without your passion, your love, and your support for this cause, I would not be able to call myself a cancer survivor right now. Thank you. And let me tell you, being able to call myself a cancer survivor is an amazing feeling. I have all the confidence in the world, and like I could totally handle anything thrown at me because of something so negative that happened 4 years ago. It's weird to think that I'm one of those many cancer survivors. I never thought cancer was in my future. Why me? I started taking things for granted, and then to have everything change so quickly is really an eye-opener. So to finish things off today, I just wanted to tell you about my story and my journey with cancer. I will never forget the date, January 10th, 2008. My life is forever changed because of that day. I was a normal 8th grader, just trying to get through the hard days of middle school. I was in my second trimester, waiting for graduation to arrive, and for August to roll around the corner so I could become a high school student. That Thursday had a different idea in store for me. From that day on, I never considered myself medically normal. I went to the doctor that day because of symptoms, maybe because of mono or pneumonia. I had some viruses October through December of 2007, and I had a couple lumps at the front of my neck, and I was extremely lazy, no motivation whatsoever. So I went into the exam room, and my doctor felt my neck and chest and ordered an x-ray and blood test right away. I went back to school that day, not thinking anything of it, and about an hour or so later, my mom showed up at my school unexpectedly. She said that the doctor had called back and that my dad was meeting us at the doctor's office. I thought it was interesting that my dad was coming, considering it was always usually my mom and I. This time when we got there, the sky had turned really dark, and I knew something was up. And instead of going into an exam room, she took us into a conference room. It had a huge oval wooden table, white office chairs, a projector, and whiteboards with really sloppy, totally illegible doctor handwriting. I didn't question it, but it seemed a little odd that we were in a conference room 1, and that 2, my dad was with us. The doctor was talking to my parents about the results, and I was zoning in and out of the conversation. All of a sudden, it got really quiet, and she told my parents, "Your daughter has lymphoma." My mom responded by saying, "Can you explain this to Steph?" There was no explanation needed at all. All she had to say were 3 little words: "You have cancer." My life will never be the same because of that phrase. After that great conference we had just had, my mom and I went to the car while my dad talked to the doctor about financially and emotionally how this was going to all work out. I went to the other side of the car, and then before I could even open the door, I collapsed, crying and realizing that this wasn't just a dream, that this was really happening. I wasn't gonna wake up the next day and start a day at school and see all my friends. So that night I packed my bags, and my mom and I started our 5-month journey together. I entered the hospital as a 5', 75-pound teenager. After that 10-day period of finding out what my specific diagnosis was, stage 2B Hodgkin's lymphoma, I went through 4 21-day chemotherapy cycles, 14 days of radiation over a 3-week period, 3 surgical procedures, a shot in the leg every day for the next 5 months. I've had what feels like thousands of needles stuck in me. I felt like one of those needle cushions. And hundreds of IVs, countless scans. The scans have always made me nervous. You just don't know what's going to show up for what the outcome of something will be. It's nerve-wracking not knowing where your life could turn next, just because of spots just showing up on the scan. At the beginning, I had doctors walk in and out of my room, and they only knew me by the number on my wrist. But after a couple weeks, I stuck with one doctor, and she is like a second mom to me. I had some of the best nurses you could ever ask for. They're like big sisters to me now. The nurses I have met have inspired me to pursue a nursing degree, specifically in pediatric oncology, and to give children what they gave me, and that's motivation and inspiration to get through any situation. 4 years later, I'm here talking to you, cancer-free, and living my life to the fullest, like every second could possibly be my last. Because you have no idea what your next journey is and where it's going to take you. But now, because of it, I feel like I can conquer anything. However, I couldn't have done it without my loving family and friends. They were my support group the whole way through. Without their caring, loving nature and their ability to cope with drastic changes, I probably wouldn't be here today. Not only because of that, but also because of my personal doubts through it, and the thought of, is it really worth it, always going through my head. So that's where Relay comes in, because life is totally worth it. No matter what situation you have thrown at you, never give up. There's always room for celebration in life. When I first started doing Relay for Life, my first thing was the survivor lap. The amount of cheering and loudness is such a motivator, especially when you just get out of treatment. Plus, having friends out there to support you each and every step of the way, and then to have them at your first cancer survivor lap is the best feeling in the world. And to see every year evolve, who's out to support me, who's stayed, who's gone, and who's someone I'll meet there that night and become friends with. It's crazy. I want you to take advantage of this opportunity to get a group of friends together, become close with everyone, and for us seniors to make the most of our last months together. I want you to make the most of it while doing something fun and for a good cause, because you all have something in common there, and that's being touched by cancer. Well, you walk that track for 18 hours, and you all have smiles on your faces at 3 in the morning. I want you to think of the people you're helping. You're celebrating the people who are battling cancer right now, the people who battled cancer and beat it, like yours truly, and then the people that battled and sadly did not win. Relay for Life is an opportunity to create more birthdays, and in the future, not having to worry about being diagnosed and not making it. Because cancer is one thing that will never, ever discriminate. This event can really change your life if you realize what you're doing during it. Your fundraising will help American Cancer Society, which will then in return help everyone in our society today. So I'm asking you to become a part of Relay for Life's family. Make memories and make a difference while doing it, because I know what it's like to hear those 3 awful words, and it sucks. I don't want anyone else to have to hear them. Let's find a cure and have fun doing it. And I'll end on one final question. Who are you going to relay for? Thank you. And now, back to Morgan.
She is an inspiration to us all, and you all were such an incredible audience. For those of you who've never participated in Relay for Life, there are many symbolic things that go on during the course of that event. One of the things is that there has to be one member of your team on the track at all times, and that is because it symbolizes the fact that cancer never rests. It's continual, it's ongoing. The battle against it has to be continual and ongoing, and that's why you keep one person from your team on the track at all times. By the time dusk sets in around the football field, if that's where you are, the whole field will be lit with luminaries, which will have the name of somebody on who has either fought cancer and won, like Steph, or someone who has fought the good fight and did not win. But you, as you walk around that track, you see all those names, and those people, many of them you will know, or know who was touched by their life. A lot of times on one side of the stadium, they'll have luminaries that spell out the word hope. And then through the course of the evening, by the time dawn hits, those luminaries have been rearranged to say cure. And that's why we're walking, and that's why we're fighting against cancer. And this is happening not only all across America, and it was begun by an American man who conceived this whole idea of let's just get out on that track for 24 hours and symbolize the fact that cancer never stops, and neither will we. And it spreads to the entire world. Now we have a chance here in Loveland to walk in support of somebody who has defeated this disease. I hope that you will agree to get on a team. It will be a very moving experience for you. I know that it will. Thank you for being such a wonderful audience. And once again, another hand for Steph.